Welcome to Looking Within, a podcast for the spiritual explorer in each of us. I'm Julie. I love to explore the inner life using contemplative practices, and I love to help others to do the same. In our time together, I hope you gain a sense of hope, meaning, joy, and love. As a Christian spiritual explorer, I hope to offer some thoughts to help you see God's presence and activity in ever-expanding ways. As you listen, ponder, and experience the divine, feel free to use the spiritual perspective you are most comfortable with in our practice today. Now, let's begin. We all have things that we say or talk about frequently that are important to us. We may circle back to these topics again and again, especially if we're trying to teach, inform, or convince others in some way. For Jesus, it seems like one of those topics was the kingdom of God or the kingdom of heaven. As we see in the Bible, he tended to mention this quite often, having a very unique vision of this kingdom as opposed to the vision of his followers. There were those in his day who wanted him to be king, to lead the people in overthrowing the Roman government which occupied their communities. But Jesus, his vision was not of military might or using force against one's foe. No, he compared the kingdom of God to a mustard seed, the tiniest of seeds that could grow into a tree in which birds could build their nests. He compared the kingdom of God to yeast in bread, to a treasure in a field that you'd sell everything else for so you could buy that field to obtain that pearl of great price. Above all, he said that this kingdom was inside of us, right now, just waiting for us to awaken to it. Through his life and his teaching, he painted a picture of something that is expansive, inclusive, filled with things like love and compassion, mutuality and solidarity, and connection to both God and other people. I want to live in this kingdom, but I guess I already do. And so do you. I saw the kingdom of God being lived out a week ago in an online gathering. The evening was a seed planting time, I'd say. Perhaps the tiniest of mustard seeds were in the hearts of those who attended. But oh, the potential for growth moving forward to be lived out in love and compassion, mutuality and solidarity, and expansive inclusiveness. Our youth director, DJ Chatelaine, and I facilitated a guided discussion to foster personal awareness of racism and white privilege. About 45 people gathered online to look at their own journeys that are being lived out within the societal structures and systems that comprise our daily lives. Wherever we were starting from, we took a step together towards engaging in difficult conversations rooted in love and care for each other and the world around us. For DJ, a 25-year-old millennial, this was a discussion that he'd been engaged in and reading about for some years now. For me, a 58-year-old baby boomer, I have to admit that it's been a much more recent part of my life in which I began to read and to listen to my own millennial son and others in order to take some first steps towards insights into the systems and aspects of our culture that have made it so difficult for the Black community to live in equitable and just circumstances in our country. I've been taking first steps to see how my life as a white woman can be of more help and less tied up in the systems that make it hard on others to live the lives that they long for and deserve. As I write today, this online conversation that occurred a week ago is my most recent example of seeing the kingdom of God in action. Perhaps you have scenarios and situations in your own life where you've seen love and compassion being lived out, and people in solidarity with others around them so that all could feel loved and cared for. Maybe this has happened within your family, your friend group, a group at your faith community, or a group at work as you go about your work life together. To lead into our quiet moments today, let me zero in on one of those similes that Jesus used for the kingdom of God. It's from Matthew 13:31 to 32. It says, "Here is another illustration Jesus used. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed planted in a field. It is the smallest of all seeds, but it becomes the largest of garden plants. It grows into a tree, and birds come and make nests in its branches." As you enjoy the moments of quiet today, your imagination will be required. You are that mustard seed, growing into a large garden plant or tree. Let's enter the quiet together now as we paint this mental picture of ourselves. In this quiet space and time, I'd invite you to gently close your eyes and to take a few deep breaths in and out. In and out. Hear the bell sound, calling you to look within. Let it center you. Let it awaken you to God's presence. Imagine that you are a mustard seed, tiny, yet with great potential for growth. You are planted in the rich, fertile, well-watered soil of the Spirit of Christ. As you grow, people can rest in your presence, feel welcomed and loved, feel sheltered and cared for. Be refreshed and ready to face the challenges of life. How are these word pictures played out in your daily life? And for whom? I'll be back with you in about 3 minutes. take an additional 30 seconds now. What sensation, feeling, or thought rose up most for you? What insight or intention are you carrying forward after our time together? I'd invite you now to take a few deep breaths in and out. In and out. Hear the bell sound, calling you back to this day or evening. Gently open your eyes, remaining still for a moment longer. Like a mustard seed, like yeast in bread, like a treasure hidden in a field for which you'd sell everything you own. All of the similes used by Jesus to describe the kingdom of God speak of growth, expansion, inclusion, and utmost value in life. And to think that this kingdom or this presence of Christ, this universal community and presence of beloved human beings resides in each of us already, just waiting to be discovered and increasingly lived out. That's an amazing thought. May the love and grace of God be something that you awaken to each day in ever-expanding ways. And may the kingdom of God, this realm of Christ, grow in each of us as we find more and more ways to love and care for our world. Thank you for making time for your inner self today. Whatever you've discovered and experienced, carry that with you in the coming days. You can find more episodes at our website, Gloria-Day, that's DEI.com/lookingwithinpodcast, or subscribe through your favorite podcast app. We'll see you next time.